Welcome back to In the Growth Space. My name is David McGlennon and I'm your host. You know, I often say that this show is about personal growth and team growth and business growth. And I also shared with you last time that we were going to have an episode with someone who had an amazing story and a turning point in their lives to really illustrate what the growth journey can look like. Now, this story definitely has the business growth, the personal and team growth all wrapped up and built into it. And today I'm talking with Inge Rock, and she's from Belgium. And in 2004, she lost everything she had. Her marriage ended in divorce. She was miserable. She lost her perfumery business that she had invested a ton of money in. And after a long 2-year battle trying to save herself and her business, she ended up 1 million euros in debt. And she'd hit rock bottom. She'd lost everything. But more than that, she lost herself. And one day, she walked into a bookstore and felt so out of place, but her soul was searching. She bought a Dutch self-help book with her last 20 euros, and she read it in 6 hours. And what she felt next was indescribable. Her soul was on fire, and she had caught a ray of light and a glimmer of hope. And from there, we're going to pick up the story in my conversation with Inge today. And she is so inspiring, and she's such an example of what can happen when someone applies themselves to create that transformation in their own lives and in their own business growth journey. So let's go ahead and get into that conversation right now because you're going to really love it. So here's my conversation with Inge Rock. Well, Inge, I am so grateful to have you here on the podcast with me today. Welcome to In the Growth Space.
Thank you, David. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me. It's really exciting.
Oh, I am really excited. And I'm excited for my audience to hear your story. And I know we just started, chatting and I thought, we got to hit record because we're getting into some good stuff. So let's don't miss the good stuff.
Great.
Yeah. So you were telling me before we hit record, like how you met Paul and you and Paul have done a ton of work together. You, and I should say Paul Martinelli, people who are listening, they probably already know.
They know already.
You've done like 27 or so turning point events with Paul. And so like, how did you meet him? How did you two meet?
Well, as most of us, I became his student.
Yes, of course.
And that was 2007.
Okay.
And, I just felt so small because I was traveling to the US to get certified and becoming a life coach. And the travel only was already so exciting, all the way from Belgium to West Palm Beach and got certified and looking up, to all these big speakers like Les Brown, Mark Proctor, Mary Morrissey. And so when I came back here, I started building my business. Actually, I followed the system.
Yeah.
My mentor told me, stick to the system. So that's what I did. And then one day I got on a call with him, with Paul Martinelli. And, as usual, in the end, you press *6, you get in the queue and you get to ask questions. And I was preparing my first seminar, like with 100 people in the room. It was such a big thing, way out of my comfort zone. And I'm in the queue for asking questions, and now it's up to me. And he says, "Hi, Inge from Belgium. How can I help you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm putting on this event, but can you give me some clues or some insights?" And he says one sentence, and the sentence was, "Your event is gonna rise or fall with the quality of your speaker." And without giving it a second blink, I was like, "Do you want to come to Belgium and do an event with me?" And he was like, "Sure." And then I thought, "Oh, what did I just do?"
I can totally relate to that.
Totally. Then my logic started running like, "Oh my God, it's going to cost me so much. And I know he flies first class. And where am I going to find the people?" And, it was great.
Yeah.
So that was our very first seminar. I think it must have been 2009 or so. And from that seminar, after 2 days, we were scattered. I mean, we were so tired. And I remember we went to the restaurant and we were just hanging out. And he says, this was so great. Let's take it to the next level. I have a workshop. It's called Turning Point. And it's a 2-day workshop, and I did it already in Romania with like 500 people in the room. And so he started mapping this thing out that was just an actually in classroom kind of seminar. It wasn't even a workshop. And I was doing already some weekends with outdoor stuff. And I love experiential learning,
Yes.
where you take your clients through an experience and then you debrief the experience, because I've been in scouts all my life. So
Yeah.
I love, the boyish things and climbing trees. And so I pitch him this and he's like, no, 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 we cannot do this. Like, no, no,
He's too scared.
you don't understand. You don't understand. I'm afraid of heights. I said, yeah,
Right.
but it would be so cool if I could bring my weekend and you take your weekend and we just blend the best pieces and we make it something new. So like the day after, he's like, maybe we can do something like that. So I said, you know what? Next time when you come back to Belgium and we do another seminar, I will tie in like a weekend with my clients and you come and watch this.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but I'm not going to climb. So no, you don't have, you just watch.
Yeah.
Okay, I will do that. And the rest is history.
Amazing.
I remember him standing there at the pamper pole, the sweaty palms looking up 15 meters, like, you are nuts that you do this with your clients. I said, but let's wait till the debrief. You will see it's going to be awesome. And voila.
Such a great story. And I love the fact that you had already been doing some of the experiential type of work, and just blending the two together makes perfect sense. And I love that. I really do. What did you learn from that process of, just getting outside of your comfort zone and allowing that to kind of come out of your mouth before you knew what was happening? Because I totally get that.
Well, David, I'm going to tell you, we have clients who came back 10 times.
Really?
The Turning Point.
Interesting.
There is, the power, because it doesn't mean my clients are stupid.
Yeah, right. No.
It just means that after 6 months or maybe 1 year's time, they're in a different position. Life is different, business is different, the team is different, the challenges are different. And I saw people coming back over and over and over again, because going through the process physically and doing the work blended with all the intellectual and emotional stuff, and, having those conversations with like-minded people in a very, very safe environment, I think it's priceless. Yeah. And every time, David, we said, this was the best one. We cannot beat this anymore. Yeah. This was the best one. And every time we beat it, it was amazing. As we grew, the audience grew. And we were always exceeding our own expectations, I guess. And we just got better at it, I guess, too. After, I think it must have been 27 or 28 altogether. And from that experience, you just know what to look for. You know your people, what is going to happen, where to pay extra attention, what staff to bring to give them extra support, because we had meltdowns, of course, in the room.
Of course.
People got stuck like, now I have to process this. So it is extremely, I dare to say, it is extremely intense, but it is one of the best things, I think, in the world.
Well, absolutely.
So transformational.
Well, and that's just I think that's the thing. That's the word, transformational. And too often, I think people who say they want transformation, but they don't want to go into that uncomfortable zone and really blend, like you said, blend the intellectual, the emotional, the physical. Yeah. And I think that's the thing that's really impactful about this entire event, is that it does blend all of those things together. And I think that, as we're recording this, we're right after the first of the year. So oftentimes people think about, new year, I got to, set these goals, but they don't do anything different to transform, because we know these goals that we want, but we don't know how to get there. We don't know how to
Exactly.
become the person who can achieve those goals. And so I think that this particular event is so unique to help people to do that. And I
Yeah.
also think, and maybe I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but I also think there are people who are at pivotal points, turning points, if you will, in
Yeah.
their lives when they may be in looking at a new season of their life. That was the case for me when I
That's,
went and actually experienced it for myself. I was in a new season of my life. I had just started my business. So I'm curious, like, the people that you've helped through. I mean, you've done 27, 28 of these types of events. Like, what have you seen? Who are the kinds of people that come, and maybe like what are some of the things that they're facing?
we have a lot of people on turning points, as you say, right? Getting ready to make decisions, but not making them yet. You're like right before that turn, and you're not sure how to handle this. So, the first thing I think, and that counts for everybody, is you gain a lot of clarity. The first day, if you remember, it's all about crystallizing, you know, your vision and the way how to enter into that vision, and preparing yourself. As to a point that the end of day one is really coming from that place, which is so profound because when we set goals, as you say, we look into the future, we see ourselves already in the goal, but we are not that person. We have to become that person, right? Because even if we do it with discipline, and, I always have to laugh a little bit when I hear people say, go get the goal. Yeah, maybe you can get it, but then you lose it again because you didn't change. And then we came into this yo-yo effect. So I think it's important that you can grow into the vision and then come from that vision and feel what it is once it will be accomplished. Because then you understand how you have to change in order to be worthy of the goal. And that's a whole different ballgame. Now we get really into who are you becoming, And the experiential stuff that we do on day two, especially, is so profound because no matter where people are, Dave, you can be in that turning point, or maybe you say, like, I don't know if something has to change or not. Maybe you're facing challenges, or maybe you have certain things that you have to deal with and you're trying to postpone it. I'll give you an example. There was this
Yeah.
lady, she's a business owner, extremely successful. And, having tough conversations with people was always a big challenge. Like she would just postpone, the sweaty palm conversations, as Paul
Uh-huh.
calls it. And I remember she had such a hard time on the bridge because she was so afraid of heights. And she was literally standing there. And I think it took her maybe 10 minutes, 12 minutes before she would take the first step to cross the bridge. And a month after turning point, she called me and she says, you're not going to believe. The biggest takeaway for me is whenever now I have to do something I don't like, or to have that tough conversation that I hate, I'm back on the bridge. And I know that if I could take that step, and it took me so long, she was like very angry with herself because she was, it took me 12 minutes to cross a damn bridge.
Yes,
She
yes.
says, now I don't postpone it anymore because I don't want to stand on the bridge again. I know that I have to cross immediately because then I get it out of my system. You see, we never know. We as leaders, we never know where the hidden treasures are in turning point. And every person takes exactly out what they need in that very moment. So your audience doesn't have to worry, like, is this going to be for me? Is it too early? Is it too late? Is it the right time? Am I ready? It's going to be perfect because you enter with this phase now in your life, and you are going to take out exactly what you need.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that because and it's interesting. You mentioned that everybody, even if you come back multiple times, we are in different places. We are different people as
Totally.
we go through it, and so and I think too, what's interesting is that everybody has that defining moment, I think, out on the experiential component of this retreat. I remember the part that I did that where I had that moment. It's kind of like your client who is in that bridge. I had just climbed this 60-foot pole, and I got to the top, and I'm standing there on this little like ledge. Yes, I'm harnessed in, but I had to jump.
Yes.
And there's a whole lesson there of this. It's like in business. So oftentimes you're on this little ledge, but you just got to jump. Even though you're already hooked up and you're connected, you're safe, you've got to do it. And I remember that moment like it was yesterday, because I'm standing up there and I'm going, it's got to be me. And those lessons are so priceless because it marries that experience with other things in our lives, in our business, in our work. And I'm so glad that you shared that, because I think that too often we forget as business leaders that we can take that next step and we become really what we're thinking about, and those dreams and those goals that we're setting. We can't go get them. Like you said, we have to come from them. I just think that is such a neat component. How did you get into that experiential part of learning? Like what was your journey up to that point? How did you get into doing some of those kinds of things? I'm always kind of curious.
Well, I spent my whole youth in scouts.
Okay.
So, all the adventurous stuff is just great. I love that. I'm a tomboy, I climb trees. So when I got certified and I understood the material that we teach, I wanted to bring this alive. And the ideas just came to me. And it's still one of my gifts. I understand that whatever lesson it is that I want to bring to my clients, I always try to make it experiential, because I know that when you enter with your whole being, the biggest takeaway is just there. Much more than in a seminar room, and even conversations are extremely important. And a very important part of Turning Point as well is, the buddy conversations where you can already speak out your thoughts, your emotions, your game plan, whatever it is that's in the exercise. But then if you can put your whole body into it, you cannot forget anymore, because now you are totally in. And I understood that from a very early point of view. I'm an arts teacher.
Okay. Yeah, wow,
From live somewhere,
yes, yes.
So you see already there, it's all about the doing. And so I let my clients play with clay and marbles and whatever it is necessary to bring the lesson alive. It's just a part of who I am. I love it.
Yeah, no, I love that. And something you just said triggered something in my memory of my experience with Turning Point too, is that buddy part. I actually went with a friend of mine. So I had called a friend and I said, "Hey, I'm going to this event and I'd love for you to come with me." And then we partnered up for all of those exercises.
Oh, wow.
And it was so cool because even though it's a safe space, it felt even safer because I knew him and I was able to like share my dreams with him. And even still, when I did that, some of the things that came out of me, that came out of my mouth, it's like, where did that come from, Dave?
Yeah,
It is like, I don't know. And it was really fascinating to be able to have that come out. And I think that just that by doing and actually getting involved both physically and mentally, it's so helpful. But also having somebody to come with you is really powerful. So I guess I would say for those people that are listening, and I know there's a lot of people who listen to the podcast who probably were at the summit where, and heard us talk about Turning Point, and some of them may have already, signed up. I know we've got quite a few people that have already registered.
Awesome.
I just want to encourage them to think about who could they invite, who could they bring along with them that would be that safe person, so that even though they're outside of their comfort zone, they're still, it's not like totally like terror.
Exactly.
Being able to do
I'd like to add something to that from experience. If people are in a relationship, I encourage always to bring their spouse, because growing in that space together is one of the most beautiful things that you can do as a couple. It just takes your whole relationship to the next level. If
Absolutely.
you have kids, I always say like 16 plus,
Mhm.
bring them to Turning Point. It's the biggest gift you can give them at such an early age. Oh gosh, being in a vulnerable but powerful place is amazing. And if you have a business partner, bring your
Yes.
business partner, because then you can work on your vision for the business and being partners in that area. So it has many different dimensions. And I saw, many different couples, let's say,
Yeah.
coming in. And if you don't have a partner to bring with you, and I think that's important too, that if people have nobody and they want to do it, don't hold yourself back, because I know from experience that you will be partner up in that room with the perfect buddy.
Yeah. That's
Because
so true.
it works always. Like, people come up to us like, this was the perfect match. We're like, crazy, right? How the universe works.
Oh, that works. I love that. Well, and I
Yeah.
think it's really cool too, because I remember the event that I was at, how there were so many teenagers in the room. And I thought
Yes.
that was so powerful to see teenagers at
Oh,
that young age thinking into their future and actually thinking and being very intentional, growing. I'm sure there might have been some that were, kind of hostages. They're probably, not sure why they were
sure.
there.
The first hour.
Yeah, first hour, but once that's hour's over, it's all good. Yeah, for sure. Well, how did you incorporate some of even the learning and some of the exercises and some of the things that we go through in Turning Point? How did you incorporate that in your own business, Inge? I'd be curious just to kind of hear how you incorporated some of that visioning, some of that dreaming,
Sure.
and really living from your dream as opposed to going towards it.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Well, first of all, when I got certified, I brought it back to Belgium. I translated everything in Dutch, of course, because the material didn't exist. And my first aim was personal coachings. I'm just going to do personal coachings. I'm going to teach, born teacher. My parents were school teachers.
Yeah,
And by the spoon, to become a teacher. And until my very first mastermind group, David, there was this Italian lady. I will never forget. She was sitting on my left side. And all of a sudden, she goes blank and she looks at me and she says, I want to do what you do. I want to do what you do. I'm like, what? This is my dream. I want to do what you do. I want to do what you do. So, okay, time goes by and mastermind group after mastermind group, clients are streaming in. In 1 year's time, my business was packed. My agenda was completely full. Personal coaching after personal coaching, and I hit the ceiling. And I was like, what am I going to do with this? Now I have a positive problem, right?
yes, right.
And Rosetta said, let me help you. I want to step in. And then I thought, okay, now I have to come with my experience, my curriculum. And I started to educate life coaches just around me. I was like, I need a team now because, I'm not going to withhold myself or my vision. I want to grow and I want to build a team of coaches around me. So then that started to happen. Then I met my husband, and after some time, he says, my husband is Croatian, by the way.
Okay.
And he says, okay, let's see if this works in Croatia and Serbia. I said, well, we'll put it to the test, right?
Okay, yeah.
In 1 year's time, boom, there it went. I think we educated over 4,000 life coaches together now in 14 years' time altogether. And we are expanding globally now. So we translated everything in English. I'm finally ready with my English.
Yes.
It was one of the major terror barriers was like, my English is not good enough. And Paul said, it's in Inge's head. You have to stop saying that,
Yes.
So you get stuck. You have somebody next to you who helps you incorporate, the stuff. We talk the same language. Although I speak Dutch and you speak English, we have a language, David. We talk stickman language.
Yes, that's true. Yes, we do.
Right? And
Yes.
I always say the more people we teach this to, the better the world is because it's so simple, yet so powerful. And we really develop that language that everybody understands. A
Mhm.
10-year-old understands, right? So I use it every day. I used it to grow our business first, like in Europe. Now we go globally. And I know it never stops. And I hope I can do this
Yes,
until,
yes.
I have no more time left. So
Right.
yeah, it is just an asset that stays with you for the rest of your life. You live
Yeah.
it or live
Yeah. And
it.
that's so profound too, talking about living it and that language. And for those of you who are listening, talking about Stickman, if you come to Turning Point, you're going to hear about Stickman. You're going to
Oh
understand this.
yes.
For those of you who are in the emerging leader inner circle, you've likely seen me talk about the Stickman and the conscious and the subconscious mind and how
Exactly.
what we think becomes our behavior. And it's so profound. It's so simple, and yet so often leaders, business owners don't realize that they're their only constraint. And then when
So
they
true.
unleash that and they allow themselves to learn what is holding them back, their languaging
So
patterns,
true.
when they do that, their businesses explode, their
Yes.
relationships just flourish. And
Their
so,
leadership,
in
David.
their leadership, yeah,
Can I share
absolutely.
one more story?
Yes, absolutely.
I remember as if it was yesterday, and I think it was our second or third turning point in Belgium. There was this guy who joined, and he was a manager in a big company in Brussels. And we knew, because we talked to our clients, of course, that he was a mountaineer. And I thought, what is he going to do at Turning Point? I mean, he's going to be on the pole in no time,
Yes,
right?
right, right.
No afraid of heights, like probably I will see him like a cat in a tree. And so I was a little worried about that
Sure.
until I saw him on the outdoor day, which is day 2. And okay, I was still like a little worried. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this guy. So I see him, of course, in onto the pole, jumps off, get the trapeze, woo, everybody's clapping. And I'm thinking, okay, where is his learn? Where is his learn? Where is his learn? Because I know it has to happen. Everybody comes home with a turning point. And until the debrief. And he says, you have to do this for every company who wants to have you. And I say, whoa, why? He says, as you know, I'm a mountaineer. My father was a tough guy. It was always about being first and never give up and boys don't cry and, being that yang, alpha male energy person. And I discovered something about myself. He says, I didn't know that exists. I love helping people. And yes, I was the first on the bridge. Yes, I was the first on the pole. But then I came back because I saw that people got stuck on the second step or whatever. And I came back because for the first time, it hit me that I'm here to help and not always to say what people should do or would do. Because being a manager in my environment is always about the processes, and executing and blah, blah, blah. And I'm done with that. So I need to develop my leadership. It's like a box of chocolates. Belgian
I love it. Belgium, yes, of course.
chocolate. We never know what a client is going to take out, but it's always mind-blowing. It's huge paradigm shifts. It is life-changing in 3 days time. And I always feel very humble and very grateful when it's over. I always cry because of the leaps that we see, the transition that we see. It is so beautiful. And then I'm like, thank you that I can be
Yes.
that witness. And I know that you are going to have that experience right now.
Yeah.
Being the leader in that place is just amazing.
I really am so excited. And I'm so glad you shared that, because I think there's a perception sometimes that certain people kind of like have it all together, but there are ways to discover that we don't even know, like in that professional or mountaineer and that learned that they love helping each other, somebody else. I mean, what a great leadership lesson. And so,
Amazing.
I just think that is amazing. So what would you say if somebody's sitting on the sideline and kind of thinking about, making the commitment to come to
Sure.
Turning Point, and they just haven't done it yet? And I'll tell you, like, I know I talked with one person who basically said, I'm not sure I'm worth it, and I convinced that person that they actually signed up. I saw their registration come through because I was going to call them on it if they didn't.
That's good.
But yeah, but those people who maybe think that, like, I don't know if this is really something that I need to invest in myself on, or I'm not sure. Maybe I've never invested in myself. I guess, what would you say to those kinds of people that would come to an event like this?
Well, first of all, I think that if you are already thinking about it, I think you're ready. And of course, the subconscious mind keeps us busy to see if it fits the schedule. Do we have the budget? Is this for me? I'm not, for what I saw in all those years is most people are scared beforehand
Yes.
when they, oh no, I'm not an adventurous person. My back hurts, my elbow, my knee. No, everybody can do it. If you here's the test. If you can step onto a chair, you can do it. Okay, it is not about physical strength or power, not at all. It's all in the mind, and that's the first thing. And I think it is the most beautiful gift that you can give yourself. I'm going to tell you, I pushed our 4 children to go through Turning Point.
Oh,
It was mandatory.
I love it.
Coach subscription, you have to do
Yes.
this.
Yes.
And I saw the gift that came out of, for each of them was different. But I know they are better people today because of that
Mhm.
experience. And I was not even involved in that turning point. I stepped back because I didn't want to be the mom, It was
Sure.
all Paul's work. But I saw it's just a gift. It's the only thing I can say. It is a gift. And yes, you are going to be scared. I know.
Yeah.
Yes, you probably doubt if you need to do it. But then again, life happens and
Yeah.
starts at the end of the comfort zone. And that is what you will experience. And I know that, once you will go through Turning Point and you look back, phew, I know you will kiss your hands and say, oh my God, this was the best thing I could give myself. And you know what? What I always saw, it's not about the 3 days. It's not about the meal plan. It's not about the outdoor. It's not about the venue. Yes, of course, I know you have listed that all out and,
Yeah.
everything's, but it's not about that. It's never about that. We cannot say what that experience is going to be. We only know that it's going to be so much more than you can possibly imagine today.
So
Possibly imagine
so
today.
true. I have my notes from Turning Point that I went to, and something you said actually triggered, because I've been going through my notes and looking at them, and I didn't recall this until I saw my notes, but I was having resistance myself in coming to Turning Point, even though I had already signed up. I knew that I was going, but I even put a little star next to it, and I said I was hitting the terror barrier yesterday coming to Turning Point because I didn't think I had the time.
Yes.
And that was my subconscious mind trying to protect me from being outside of my comfort zone. And I know that there's a lot of times people don't make decisions because they want to stay safe. And so I think what you're sharing is that there's going to be something there for you. And
Always.
I know that our subconscious mind is going to keep us, want to keep us safe.
Oh, yeah.
But we've got to take that step. And so anyway, so it was interesting that you said that, and it just kind of triggered me thinking about that note, that even I was resistant. I had already signed up, but that resistance is
Oh,
still
yeah.
there.
Even then, you think, did I make the right decision? Can I find any excuse not to go?
Right.
And I see it when people come in. There's a Buddhist expression. It's called jumping monkeys. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I
People
am.
in transition have a lot of jumping monkeys, the little monkeys
Yeah,
screaming in their mind like, whoa, what am I doing to myself? I'm crazy. I don't know
exactly.
what I signed up for.
Right.
And
Right.
so when you expect the monkeys to be there, you can play with them.
Yes,
Just don't
exactly.
let them overrule your life.
Right.
It's
Right.
okay to be uncomfortable because
Yeah.
that is where the magic starts.
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is. Inga, this has been so fun. I would love to,
Thank
first of all,
you.
I know that you've written a book, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's You Become What You Think.
You become
And
what
I
you
know
think.
that you also do some other coaching work. I guess tell everybody a little bit too about your work. And you've already talked a little bit about expanding and moving beyond the borders of Belgium and Croatia and Europe. So tell us a
Yes.
little bit about what you're working on.
Well, thank you so much. I have two major focuses, I would say. The first one is the individual. Transformation is my middle name. So whenever people get stuck, and I see that 80% of my clients say, I don't know what I want for my future. I know what I don't want. And that's already a good place to be. That you don't settle for what is, not nice, that you allow that there's more for you. So I help people gaining clarity in what they want, and I lead them through the transformational process. And the program is called Total Transformation with a Reason, of course.
Okay.
So that is one big program, and the other one is education for life coaches. So I equip them. We help them with their marketing, with their sales, with their niche finding. And I know there's a lot about finding our niches, but life coaches, but in many different professions. So of course we have the life coach that wants to build their business, but we also have school teachers, we have school principals, we have leaders, we have managers, we have entrepreneurs, we have moms, we have dads, we have
Love it.
that is it's all about coaching as the conversation of the leader. Actually, that
Oh,
is what
that's
we do,
interesting.
and we do it in English and we do it in
Oh, fantastic. That's
Dutch.
so cool. How do people learn more? You have a website,
Very simple. IngeRock.com.
ingaruck.com. I love that. We'll make
Yeah.
sure that we put that in the show notes and link to it.
Thank you so much. And then at first there's a button, Dutch or English.
Ah,
So you press English, you get everything in English. It's
fantastic.
gonna be
Well,
easier.
personally, I think your English is phenomenal. So, I
Oh,
mean,
well, thank you.
I don't know the first thing about Dutch, so I wouldn't even begin to be able to communicate.
I'm
Well,
happy I pushed myself through the terror barrier with my
yeah.
English, and I'm ready, David.
Well, I
Yeah.
think that you are too, and I can't wait to see more of what you're working on and see the transformation that you're going to help others through as well
Thank you
as you
so
expand.
much.
Yeah, it's going to be
Thank
so
you.
cool.
I wish you the best of luck. It's so much fun at Turning Point.
Thank you.
I know that the clients that you will take there are gonna have a blast, and I know they will never ever forget that experience. So
Well, thanks for being
all the
here.
best,
Thank you so much,
and
Inga.
thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I don't know if it was just me, but I so enjoyed that conversation with Inga Rock. Inga is such an engaging personality and such an amazing individual. I didn't know the story of how she met Paul Martinelli. And then I didn't realize that she had done so many Turning Point events with Paul. I thought the one thing that she said that no matter how many times you come, you're in a different place. So I guess if I'm talking to someone right now and you've come to Turning Point before, come again. You're a new person. You're a different person. And if you are not sure, if you want to come to Turning Point, if you want to invest in yourself, if you want transformation, if you've been looking at creating some goal and you've not met it yet, you haven't become the person who is able to get that goal, then this is the place for you. And I know that this particular event is going to be so impactful for so many people. We just got a registration from two people from overseas. And so I know there are people that are coming from Europe that will be here. There obviously are people here in the United States. So I just want to encourage you, if you're listening to this podcast, and I know it's going to sound like a commercial for Turning Point, and it is, but it is because of a purpose. And that purpose is that I know so many people have dreams and goals, and they want to achieve those goals and they want to see those dreams come true, but they're not sure how to do it. And this event really does it better than I think anything else that I've ever experienced personally. And I know that if you were at the summit, you saw Paul Martinelli, you know what kind of a master he is at not only teaching, but also creating the environment for the experience with growth and with transformation. So I just want to encourage you that if you're thinking about it, just pull the trigger. It's right now, it's the least expensive that it will be. We've got our early bird registration going in, our early bird pricing. And if you're listening to this and you register before the middle of February 2022, you are going to also be able to participate in a private workshop that Paul and I are going to do prior to the event to get you ready to come to the event, come to Turning Point. So I know it's going to be impactful. I really do hope that this conversation gave you some kind of insights on something maybe that you're even struggling with. Maybe that growth process, that transformation process that you've been trying to figure out and you just haven't been able to break through that barrier. Maybe there's something that Inge said that will help you to at least see things differently. And, just having her share her transformation process, the story with her being on a call with Paul, and then having something just kind of blurt out of coming over and doing a workshop together. I mean, that's kind of like what happened to me with Paul and this whole Turning Point. I just know how much this is going to be an impact for the people who are coming. So I can't say it enough. I would love to have you push through the resistance. Make sure that you push through your own terror barrier, your own discomfort zone, and invest in yourself. And if you're a leader, if you're a business owner, bring your team. There is no better way than this event to help your team grow and to become a lot more intentional and higher performing than experiencing what you're going to experience at this event. So I hope that this episode has been enlightening for you. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I certainly did. So make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. Give us a rating, give us a review. I say that all the time, but it really means a lot. It really means a lot for us to be able to impact more people. And not only that, I want to have you subscribe because I don't want you to miss some of the conversations that we have coming up. We've got some amazing conversations. Matter of fact, we've got a business owner who herself has also gone through Turning Point, and it has had such an amazing impact on her business. It's absolutely exploded. And there is just so much gold in that conversation. So I don't want you to miss that. So make sure you go out, subscribe. But until next time, remain in that growth space. Stay there. Be uncomfortable and be well.